Aries, welcome to your January 2024 reading. And we're going to take a look at the month and we're going to talk about the year. So first let's talk about love and romance. Whether you're single or you're with someone, first card out is the Fool. Okay, so we are venturing into some pretty bold territory when it comes to life in general. You want new, you want variety, you want to meet new people, you want to make new friends, you want to try out a new business idea, you want to be creative. I think making new friends and being open to making new friends is a lot better of an idea than starting something new romantically. But the Fool for an established relationship, I think that it has to do with, admitting to yourself and to your partner that things are getting heavy. Things are serious, You want to talk to your partner about this. You want to make sure that you're both handling how heavy things are getting in a positive and healthy way, because it can be so fun. But, if you're feeling like you're the only one, that can be annoying. If you feel like you feel it more than the other person, that can be annoying. So you just want to talk to your partner and, they feel the same way you feel is what I'm saying. But it would be nice to talk about it and just know and just acknowledge, okay, we're getting really heavy now. Things are getting super intense. This is good. I like this, but, let's just name it so I don't run from it. 1 second, a card fell down. Okay, the Nine of Wands. So with the Nine of Wands, I think part of what makes this time so exciting for you is that your Fool energy is related to things that they're in your wheelhouse, things that you could easily do, and you're really good at them. The Nine of Wands is a card of, you're going to be able to see these when, we do the extended. But it's a card of many, many wands behind a person who's holding fast to one wand because they believe that this is all they've got. The Fool plus the Nine of Wands is you have all of this resource to pull from. And now the urges that you're having, the directions you want to take, they are coming from this hidden place. So how do you make the wands and the Nine of Wands, that hidden resource, how do you make it apparent? How do you bring it to the fore? So that's a big part of your overall journey throughout January, but 2024. You want to use a healthy conceit, let's say. This is the Strength card, the Leo card. You want to use your healthy sense of self to nourish, the parts of you that not only have been neglected, you didn't meaningfully neglect them, you didn't mean to, you didn't purposefully do it. I think that there is a level of comfortability with Aries when they can feign lack of awareness, where they can say, okay, I didn't even know I could do that. I didn't know that I was good at that. It's not that I'm not taking a risk. I didn't even know that about myself. Your sense of self is very healthy right now and it wants to grow. And it's going to be the right kind of energy to push you into a space where you want to use these hidden resources. And the only reason they're hidden, the Ego card there with the Fool on one side and the Ego card on the other side, what that's saying to me is a lot of what has remained hidden talent-wise, resource-wise for you, has only been that way because there was a deep fear of it somehow affecting your pride, your cool factor, the way people look at you, all of that. Your societal avatar is afraid of what expression may come from this well of untapped creativity, emotion, That's what you're tapping into. And so that's what I mean in terms of relationships, especially established relationships, because that's what you're tapping into, this intense well of feeling, creativity, everything that you haven't been paying attention to. Because that's what you're tapping into, you need to communicate with your partner. And because that's what you're tapping into, it's not a good idea to get into something with someone new, because we can't possibly expect them to understand what level you're at right now. Someone new is going to look at what you're going through and be like, okay, this isn't about me. You're being intense like this and it has nothing to do with me. And they would be right. It's not about them. So if you're having some very intense reaction right now to someone that you really, really want, one, give it a few weeks. Because the way they're going to ick you and the way that you're going to just want to be friends with them. So don't make yourself look stupid right now by running after them or pining for them or, you know, just making them feel like there's something. Don't do it. Because in a few weeks, they're going to do something that makes you just be like, oh, no. No. 5 of Swords. Yeah. It's something that they do that's related to, like, resources. It's something about being, like, cheap or dishonest or, you know, funny around money, or there's something about this person. This is a potential, not someone, an established person. Established relationships are getting very intense, very heavy, and we're going to talk about them ad nauseum in the extended. But if you're just out here meeting people, the only type of people that you're going to meet right now who want to get into it with you are people who there's something about them you can't trust, because they can see from the outside what you're accessing, and for them to want to, like, ingratiate themselves in your life right now, something's wrong. Give it a few weeks. Give it, especially if they're trying to move quickly. Especially if they're trying to move quickly. So we have here the 8 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. So I'm talking like intense, things move very quickly. You're fighting, you're fucking, you know, like the whole toxic circle of life, that whole thing. Yeah. Leave that be. Try not to become intimate with this person. Leave it be for a few weeks, and you will see that this is someone you really just need to keep as a friend, because they are not good enough to be a lover. They are not. And keep making new friends. I think it's a really cool way to set a boundary with people, to just be like, you know, I'm in a phase in my life where I'm just meeting new people, but I'm not really interested in dating anyone. I'm not really interested in a relationship. I think when you make it clear to people that you really just want to be friends and you really just want to meet and like hang out with people and like get to know people, there's a pressure that gets taken off from your side, because you never know how aggressive you come off. You never know what it's like to be on the receiving end of those horns, right? Aries can push people into basically doing whatever they want. So it's nice to get that off of an Aries, where they're like, you know, I really don't want anything. I'm just out here. I'm just having fun. I'm just exploring. I'm the fool right now. You know, I'm just taking it as it comes. That is very, very attractive on you. So even if there is some potential out there for someone that like may ick you in a few weeks, if you want them until that happens, if you want them to be paying more attention to you, giving you, you know, the I'm chasing you vibes instead of the other way around, pull back your energy. You're just making friends and, you know, meeting people. That's all you're doing. That's the key. It will bother the shit out of them. So when it comes to these established relationships, one of the things we're going to talk about in the extended is consolidating those intense feelings in the relationship, what that means, what that looks like between you and your partner. Now, the things that turn serious when you're single and you're flirting, right? There is a dramatic factor to this. Like, You can meet someone if you're single that you're like, oh my God, I want to take all the risks. They understand the hidden real me. You know, they appeal to my ego in some very specific way. It creates the kind of expectations that later in the month creates so much drama and so much sadness, because that person, whomever you're projecting onto that physical shell, that person is not the person you think they are. And not even because they're fooling you. You're not seeing who they are. You're just seeing who you wish they were. And the expectations you're able to build around that hope are painful. And then you may end up doing things with this person based on those expectations that you've made up on your own. And it can lead to some like loss of self-esteem, some loss of power, hurt feelings. So I wouldn't go down that road. But of course, we can talk more about that in the extended as well, and how to kind of curb that sadness if you've already gone ahead and like fallen for someone that you know is not long-term. We can talk about that. How not to be disappointed. What's the key? We're going to talk about it. I said we're going to talk about it later, but the one thing that I wrote here that I really want to tell you, the one way that you can make things easier for yourself all of 2024, tall order, I know, but try it out in January, is to let people spell out what they want. Let people tell you. Here we have the 9 of Cups, the Magician, the 6 of Wands, the 4 of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. So let's start with this 9 of Cups and the Magician. Let people tell you where they're at. Let people tell you how many of their cups are full. Let people tell you what they're willing to alchemize for you, what they're willing to make happen for you, what their capability and their resources even are, what's on your table. 6 of Wands, 4 of Wands. Someone who wants to provide stability for you, someone who wants to financially provide for you, someone who is financially able to provide security and love for you, someone who makes you feel like you are the prize. This is someone you only will come across when you allow people to set their own expectations with you. When you allow people to come to you and spell out exactly what they're willing to give you and what they're willing to do. And it's very difficult to have that process or go through that process with someone when you're jumping ahead to the part where lust takes over and all of this is just skipped over. And I don't know what we think. Aries, Venus, Aries, Mars. I don't know what we think when those conversations are going to be had, or when we're, you know, I don't know why we don't think they're more necessary, but lust seems to be, you know, the kill switch. And then these conversations don't happen. But if you were to hold on to your freedom, okay, and kind of avoid this really, there's a polarity to the thinking in this. It's, if I let people spell out what they want, does that mean I'm not going to get what I want? No, that doesn't mean that at all. If you hold on to your freedom and you allow people to come to you and you expect nothing of them, and they are allowed to say, hey, this is what I have, and this is what's on my table, and this is what I need, and these are the cups I already have, and some of them are filled and some of them are not filled. These are the cups I can fill for you. This is what I have to offer. If you allow for this process to happen and you hold on to your freedom until that happens, you avoid moving backward, and you also avoid the misery of something that I would think has happened to you more than once. So here we have the 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Cups, where you end up really, really disappointed because you chose a partner on whom you placed great expectations, probably because of their physicality or the charm or the, you know, the chemistry between you. And they were a total disappointment. They were a waste of your time. They were a total disappointment. And they also dragged you to a place that was really, really negative, that you had to work extremely hard, 10 of Wands, you know, with quite a lot of pressure on your back to get out of. So the hole that you desperately want to climb back into in 2024, where you are basically like having a relationship in your head with someone who cannot do the things you like, that you want, that you expect, that you need, those days are over if we're able to kind of nip this process in the bud at the very beginning. And that's where we're at in January. So it's really important to heed this particular advice, no matter how much you are enamored with someone right now. Ultimately, however they feel about you or how you feel about them changes, and it changes solely based on what you expect of them and what they can actually provide. Everything sort of hinges on that. And your love for yourself has grown, your self-esteem has grown. I think perhaps for some of you, just age-wise, this is the first time in your life where you're thinking more about you than about what people expect of you. You're thinking more about your long-term future, your long-term happiness than you have before. The immediacy of life right now has been replaced with value. You know, do I want things right away, or do I want the thing that I actually want? It's interesting because it's a really healthy way to start your year. You know, because work-wise, things are just going to get more and more fantastic. Physical health, mental health, there's some pretty easy solutions coming up to persistent issues. So really, the only place where you kind of have to press the button and make sure that something doesn't even begin is in your love life. That's the place where you can really like switch off anything that can ultimately, in January and in 2024, harm you later on, because it just hurts too bad, right? So another way of saying this is January, the beginning of the year, is not a good time to put all your eggs into a basket that doesn't belong to anybody and is just going to get picked up by anybody and taken anywhere. Like, it's time to concretize things, especially in romance. And that starts with allowing yourself to be exactly how you are, and you're good at that part, but allowing other people to show up exactly as they are and giving them the grace to accept exactly what they can give you, not demanding more, not asking for more, and having the sense of self to accept that they might not be enough and to walk away from it, even though your libido, your charm, everything is pulling you in. Facing the reality, the adult reality of what someone is able to give you will tell you right away proportionately how much they're going to hurt you later. So, and you will feel that. You will see that as soon as your desire to concretize things becomes apparent throughout the month, you will see how quickly some people turn into, knives that you can hurt yourself with, because they just are not capable of providing for you the level of commitment, intensity, stability, genuine connection, love, fire, heat, chemistry. They can't provide it. But they sure would love to take whatever you want to give them, even though they can't pay the fee to get in. You can't get mad at people who know they can't pay the fee to get in, who are just waiting outside, and you keep going out there and like throwing them stuff. Like, you can't get mad at them for coming back over and over again, but you also can't get mad at them for not buying a ticket. Don't ask me who's who in that. Shh. All right, we're going to talk in the extended about, as we look at the cards, we're going to talk about career and money and the risks that you will be taking. We're going to talk about Mercury going direct. Now, for Aries rising, the thing we need to talk about the most is this 10th house, which is Capricorn, house of career, reputation, and how everything will be in the 10th house. So let's start with Mars. Mars moves into Capricorn on the 4th of January. Mercury will move into Capricorn on the 13th of January. And then the Sun will be there until the 20th of January. And then Venus will move into Capricorn on the 23rd. So all of that, Aries rising, in your 10th house of career. There is so much you can do with this energy. It's beautiful. The Magician here, the 6 of Wands, like, this is your time. You can create something just out of your mind. You don't even need like overhead. You don't need to create a product. You can just create something just simply out of the ideas in your head and create intellectual property. You can just be creative and start a whole new life. Okay? Now, when it comes to mental and physical health, like I said, there's some easy solutions that show up to persistent problems, and it's such a relief. Good. Happy New Year. Happy January. I am rather intrigued and proud of you for wanting things to be more concrete. And I'm really excited for you to learn the lessons of love that January has to offer you, because I think they stay with you for a lifetime. And it's an amazing switch. It's like once a lifetime, Aries has this realization somewhere, you know, in their back brain about what love and romance actually is and what it should be. And they're never duped again. Not to say that you become cynical or, you know, jaded in any way. Not at all. Not at all. You figure out the game. And when you figure it out, you know, once that veil is removed, you can never put it back on. Then you know. So be excited. Be prepared to be put onto the ultimate game. Because as you may have noticed, the Aries, they get it. They really get it. They get whatever they want from whoever they want like this. There's a reason for that. And you learn that in January. You were inducted into that special group of Aries that kind of can just do, you know, they can maneuver in any situation. It's impressive. It's a very, very valuable life skill. I'm excited for you. I love you. The extended is on Patreon. It's on Vimeo, and you can buy it as a standalone video on Patreon if you don't want to like join, subscribe, do any of that. Or if you can't by country, you can still buy that video. And yes, we're going to put a link below for an off social media gathering on Zoom. If you would like to take part in that, there will be a link below where you can buy tickets. Mwah! Love you.